The Battle of Midway, the turning point of the Pacific War, a clash that changed history. In the vast expanse of the Pacific Ocean, an epic confrontation unfolded between two naval superpowers that would forever alter the course of World War II. The Battle of Midway, fought between June 4th and June 7th, 1942, is regarded as one of the most significant naval engagements in history. It was not just a clash of ships and aircraft, but a battle of strategy, intelligence, and sheer determination. The United States Navy, still reeling from the attack on Pearl Harbor just 6 months prior, faced off against the seemingly invincible Imperial Japanese Navy. In this video, we will dive deep into the events leading up to the battle, the brilliant strategies that defined it, and the lasting legacy of this pivotal moment in the Pacific theater. The road to Midway, Japan's quest for dominance. Following their surprise attack on Pearl Harbor in December 1941, Japan quickly seized territories throughout Southeast Asia and the Pacific. Their goal was to establish a defensive perimeter to protect their newly acquired empire and eliminate the United States as a strategic threat. However, the Doolittle raid in April 1942, a daring American airstrike on Tokyo, shook Japanese confidence and proved that the U.S. still had the capability and will to strike back. Determined to crush American naval power once and for all, Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto devised an ambitious plan to lure the U.S. Pacific Fleet into a trap at Midway Atoll, a small but strategically vital island northwest of Hawaii. By capturing Midway, Japan hoped to extend its defensive perimeter, threaten Hawaii, and force the United States into a negotiated peace. American code-breaking, the secret weapon. Unbeknownst to the Japanese, American cryptographers had made a groundbreaking breakthrough. Led by Commander Joseph Rochefort, the U.S. Navy AS codebreakers at Station Hypo successfully deciphered key portions of the Japanese Navy ESJN-25B code. Through their tireless efforts, they uncovered Japan's plan to attack Midway, codenamed Operation MI. To confirm this intelligence, the Americans sent a deceptive message from Midway reporting a water shortage, which the Japanese intercepted and referenced in their communications. This confirmed that Midway was indeed the target. Armed with this critical knowledge, Admiral Chester W. Nimitz, Commander-in-Chief of the U.S. Pacific Fleet, prepared an ambush of his own, setting the stage for a decisive confrontation. The forces gather, a high-stakes gamble. The Japanese fleet, commanded by Admiral Chuichi Nagumo, comprised 4 of Japan's most powerful aircraft carriers, Akagi, Kaga, Soryu, and Hiryu, escorted by battleships, cruisers, and destroyers. In contrast, the American force was relatively smaller, with 3 carriers, USS Enterprise, USS Hornet, and the hastily repaired USS Yorktown, supported by cruisers and destroyers. The stakes could not have been higher. Both sides understood that the outcome of this battle could determine the future of the war in the Pacific. For Japan, victory meant securing their defensive perimeter and crippling American naval power. For the United States, it was a chance to halt Japanese expansion and turn the tide of the conflict. June 4, 1942, the battle begins. At dawn on June 4, Japanese aircraft launched the first strike against Midway Island, causing significant damage to American installations but failing to neutralize the island's defenses. In response, Midway's defenders scrambled what aircraft they could, mounting a brave but largely ineffective counterattack against the Japanese fleet. Meanwhile, U.S. carrier-based aircraft, guided by reconnaissance reports and sheer determination, embarked on a series of daring assaults. Torpedo squadrons from the American carriers launched attacks that were met with devastating anti-aircraft fire and fierce opposition from Japanese Zero fighters. These early strikes resulted in heavy American losses, with entire squadrons wiped out. However, their sacrifice was not in vain. The critical moment, dive bombers strike. With the Japanese carriers' decks cluttered with fueled and armed aircraft preparing for a second wave, American dive bombers from USS Enterprise and USS Yorktown arrived at the perfect moment. Exploiting a gap in the Japanese combat air patrol, the USSBD Dauntless dive bombers launched their attack. In a matter of minutes, they scored direct hits on 3 of the 4 Japanese carriers, Akagi, Kaga, and Soryu, setting them ablaze and rendering them inoperable. The shock and confusion within the Japanese fleet were palpable. Admiral Nagumo, who had just ordered a rearming of his planes for a strike against the American carriers, now found his own force crippled and under relentless assault. The counterattack, Hiryu's last stand. Despite the catastrophic losses, the remaining Japanese carrier, Hiryu, swiftly launched a counterattack. Its aircraft succeeded in striking the USS Yorktown, causing severe damage and forcing the crew to abandon ship temporarily. However, American damage control efforts were heroic. The Yorktown was stabilized and remanned, only to be hit again by a second wave from Hiryu. Ultimately, the Yorktown succumbed to the damage and sank days later. In response, American aircraft located Hiryu and launched a final decisive assault. Bomb hits ignited uncontrollable fires aboard the carrier, sealing its fate. By the evening of June the 4th, all 4 Japanese carriers had been destroyed, marking a staggering defeat for the Imperial Japanese Navy. Aftermath: a strategic victory. The loss of 4 carriers, along with over 300 aircraft and more than 3,000 experienced sailors and aviators, was a crippling blow to Japan's naval aviation capabilities. In contrast, the United States lost the USS Yorktown and around 150 aircraft. More importantly, the battle shattered Japan's offensive momentum and shifted the strategic initiative to the Allies. Never again would Japan be able to launch such an ambitious offensive in the Pacific. The United States, bolstered by its vast industrial capacity and growing naval power, embarked on a relentless campaign of island hopping, gradually retaking territory and closing in on the Japanese home islands. Midway thus marked the beginning of Japan's long and inexorable retreat in the Pacific War. Legacy of Midway, lessons and impact. The Battle of Midway stands as a testament to the power of intelligence, strategic foresight, and the courage of those who fought against overwhelming odds. It demonstrated that technological superiority and numerical advantage could be overcome by superior planning and decisive action. The bravery of American pilots who flew into deadly anti-aircraft fire knowing that many would not return remains an enduring symbol of sacrifice and heroism. Strategically, Midway halted Japanese expansion and set the stage for future Allied victories, such as the Guadalcanal campaign and the eventual liberation of the Philippines. Historians often regard Midway as the turning point of the Pacific War, a moment when the tide irrevocably shifted in favor of the Allies. Conclusion: remembering the battle that changed the Pacific. As we reflect on the Battle of Midway, it is essential to recognize not just the ships and aircraft that clashed in those fateful days, but the human stories of courage, resilience, and ingenuity that defined the battle. From the codebreakers who worked tirelessly in secret to the pilots who made the ultimate sacrifice, every participant played a role in shaping the course of history. The legacy of Midway continues to inspire military strategists, historians, and all who value the profound impact of determination and innovation in the face of adversity. Join the journey through history. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the Battle of Midway and want to explore more epic moments that shaped our world, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. Leave a comment below, sharing your thoughts or any other historical battles you'd like us to cover next. And don't forget to give this video a like to support our channel. Together, let's keep history alive and continue uncovering the remarkable stories that define our past.